Sigourney, absolute pleasure to meet you. A huge fan of your work, and we're finally here at Avatar: The Way of Water. Like, how does it feel to finally have this one out in the world?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I also saw it with Zoe, Sam, and Stephen last week. They did a special screening for us in New York, and we know the story, we lived it, but I was unprepared for how incredibly seamless the experience was. You immediately feel part of this family. It's based on Jim's real family, so you just become like another sibling as you sit there, and just the whole experience was so dazzling. And I'm glad it was a week ago, because it's taken me that long to kind of pull myself together. I think we all cried for like the whole 3 hours.
It is so incredibly immersive.
Yes.
It's amazing. I would love to hear when and how did James Cameron first come to you and say, like, all right, listen, I know Dr. Grace, we lost her in the first movie, but I have something for you. I want to pitch you something. Like, when and how did that come about?
Well, actually, it wasn't like that. We had lunch together in 2010. And part of the reason we had lunch is we kind of wanted to spitball about this idea that maybe there'd be a girl character who had a relationship with Grace, but that she felt more at home in the forest and she didn't really know. So we kind of talked about some basic thoughts about her. We didn't know about Spider, and we certainly didn't know any of the specifics, but just the idea. And, Jim is crazy enough to cast me as a 14-year-old. And as he said that day, and several times afterward, this is your natural age. You are 14. You are that immature. I know that about you. And he also knows that I'm a clown. And so I don't think he was as worried as I was. When he told me, I was like, all right, how am I going to do this? But luckily, I had plenty of time to figure out not only how to do it, but how I wanted to do it, which was not imitating a 14-year-old, but really unearthing my unhappy 14-year-old in some ways, and letting her exist in this space.
Oh, you did such a great job. I mean, the whole cast is incredible. You did such a great job. I'm so glad he brought you back the way he did. Now, 13 years later, we have an Avatar sequel. If you could revisit any of the films you've ever made and do another sequel, replay a character again, or an alternate version of a character, something like that, is there anything you think would be fun to revisit in a follow-up story?
Oh, well, I did think, because I get asked a lot about Catherine Parker from Working Girl. And so I remember for some interview, I said, yes, she would be in the cryptocurrency area, and her company would be called Bitcoin.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for the time.
I just want to say one quick thing, which in terms of comic books, one of my inspirations for Kiri was the Classics Illustrated comic book of Green Mansions, which is an old book and movie where Audrey Hepburn plays this girl who lives in the tops of trees.
And you hadn't read the book too,
I didn't read the book. You didn't need to read the book.
Sure.
If you had the Classics Illustrated.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if they still do Classics Illustrated, but they're such a good idea.
Well, thank you so much for the time. It's an absolute pleasure.